Welcome to Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. This video is going to be the beginning of a video in a series about purchase orders, and the very first thing I wanted to address is the best way to set up your cost codes for purchase orders. Since CHS is based on comparing budgets, change orders, purchase orders, and actual costs using a cost code, and you can watch the videos about setting up your cost codes, etc. It's important not to get these cost codes so detailed, because when you enter a purchase order, it's going to ask for a cost code, and you don't want to. I'm going to use masonry as an example. You can see that this builder has his masonry cost codes set up very simply: masonry materials, masonry labor, and masonry turnkey. He doesn't have cost codes set up like for rock face or mortar or things like that, and that's because he can use the items behind masonry materials to set up various items that are attached to this cost codes that can be used behind the purchase order for a cost code for this one masonry materials cost code. And you can see that he has set up some various items behind this cost code. He could continue to set up more that he would bring into a purchase order if he likes. But what I wanted to point out for sure is that there's items behind this one cost code that can show up on a PO, that can be seen when you're entering bills, so that you don't have to have a cost code for each one of these types of items that he has set up. And I really caution you to set up and think of your cost codes as cost centers that can be compared for the total that you budget for or the total that you write a PO for, instead of all the little individual items, because you don't want to cause somebody to need to set up multiple POs to go with every single item. I mean, things that are too detailed, or to be entering bills that are too detailed line by line, because you have a whole bunch of detailed cost codes. So I want to show you in this video how this works. This was the cost codes master setup, and those were what are called generic items that he has attached to masonry materials. So I've already opened the budget for our demo job, and I'm going to jump over here, and I've looked down here at masonry materials, and he's already figured out the amount he's going to budget based on creating a list of items. And those list of items he basically created based on a bid that he got for masonry materials from Acme Brick. And so he set up these items, and then he saved them as generic items. If you will watch the videos and information about items under the cost codes area, etc., then you will see how you do that. I'm not going to go into that much detail in this video, but you can see that this totals to $11,691, this bid that he received. And that's what we're totaling to here as far as what we've check marked for the budget. Now, we will be coming back to creating in various ways that you can create POs, but in this case, I could create a purchase order from these items that I have here. See this column for new PO, and up here there's a box for new purchase order, and I'm going to select all of them because he did get those in from a bid, and he's going to go ahead and accept this bid. So now you can see that this number up here for the total of the ones that I've selected for new PO is the same as the total selected for the budget. And if I click to create a purchase order from these items, and I know that my vendor is Acme Brick, so I'll do that. And I'm going to continue to create the purchase order from these items. We will be coming back to this screen in all of our videos about setting up purchase orders. So I won't go over it too heavily. You can see over here the original budget was this amount, the total POs. In other words, this PO is here. And so our estimated cost at completion of this, and we're not over or under because he used that bid for his budget amount also. But if I click items right here, you'll be able to see, and because of all the check boxes it'll use, etc., it's the same basic list. It's a little bit different, but it's already showing a PO number for all of these various items. So this purchase order, if I close it and I go ahead and print it, you're going to see how those items are listed on the purchase order, the face of it itself, so that it's very clear when you're issuing the purchase order what you are ordering. You can see that list of items that he used. So there's no need, this could all be on one purchase order that has one cost code. You can actually see that cost code in the middle here. And you can see that we're using just one cost code here for masonry materials. We're not making multiple purchase orders because we set up our cost codes too detailed. We didn't set up our cost codes too detailed. This builder really didn't set it up very detailed. He just has one for masonry materials. So if I go over, I would like to show you how somebody entering bills and then somebody approving bills can see all of those items. So if I do post a new payables record, and then I select Acme Brick, and I'm going to create a job-related bill. It's showing me there in red that there are open POs. There's going to be other ways you can create these bills from POs, but I'm just going to do it straight from the Add New Bill screen, because right here you can see Select PO. So I'm going to look, and it's going to show me any that are for this vendor and for this, just for this vendor. And you can see that I have this PO amount of $11,691 and that I haven't posted any. So I'm going to select that one. And CHS is going to go ahead and fill in a lot of the fields. It used the cost code title. You can type in something else if you want here. But it showed the unit price, it figured out what the tax is, and has this amount here from the purchase order. So what I'd like to show you is that while you're entering this, maybe you received an invoice that's a little different or a little higher than what this PO amount is. And if you'd like to review the invoice against the purchase order, you can. There's the POs and costs here, and so it's showing me, and I can drill right down to the purchase order and open it. And while I'm here, I forgot to do something else that besides being able to click on the items button to see what the items are and compare it to your invoice you're entering, I could have attached that bid. So I'm going to go ahead and go get that bid and attach it to this PO. Happens to be in my folders for doing videos for tutorials, but you might have folders for the job or somewhere where you keep these bids when you get them in. Let me get over here to where I have a copy of that bid, and there's that bid. You'll know where you've stored yours or how you have yours, I'm sure. So I've attached a copy of that, and you can see the name of that PDF file. So actually I had opened this window from adding new bills, and if I wanted to look at that particular bill, I could, that particular bid, and this is while I'm entering bills, I could open this file, open up that bid, and go ahead and see that bid to compare to the invoice. So you can get all the way to that point just from your Add New Bills. This is me. I opened the purchase order from my Add New Bills screen because I drilled down on POs and costs. There's no posted cost yet because I haven't posted this one, but I used this link right here to do that. So if for some reason the invoice had come in for a higher amount than the purchase order that dropped in here when I used it, I could drill down to look at the items behind it. So I can see that right from the screen and see a copy of a bid if I wanted when I attached it. Let's go ahead and submit this as unpaid to pay later. because it's going to be in a check run. And right here, after I posted the bill, this says I can view the posted entries, which would be a line for the bill plus a line for the sales tax. And I can actually attach a copy of the invoice to this right here, the real invoice, not the purchase order, so that by the time somebody is coming along and reviewing that for approval, if the job manager is going to approve unpaid costs and just wants to approve them for our demo job, I'll do that, and opens this. Anyway, what I'm trying to show is that you can drill down, see how this says PO yes for this one here, that this person approving it can also open the POs, can get all the way down to, again, reviewing the uploaded bid that was attached by attach view files here, or clicking items to see what the items are. So both the person entering the bill and the person approving the bill to pay can see how this person might put OK1 and OK2. They could also see the ECC, which is the budget variance for this particular group, and they can see that it is not over budget. These two unpaid items actually add up to what our budget is, add up to what our PO is, and it's showing that it is not over budget. So that would also help them, and they could see what's going on, but they could drill down to the detail, or they could drill down to PO versus cost like we did, and see if there were any other costs. You can see that the actual cost posted against this PO, it is a penny difference. Sometimes you may have to adjust your sales tax just a little bit to get it to equal exactly when you're posting a bill. Just depends, because the PO is doing it line by line by line for the items, and the overall PO might have one bulk amount for the sales tax. Anyway, what my point is I'd like to really emphasize that because this builder had that one cost code for masonry materials and not a whole bunch of cost codes for all those types of items, I've seen people set up cost codes for masonry ties and brick and this and that, and I encourage you not to, because by simplifying your cost codes, this means a person can create one purchase order for masonry materials. The person entering the bills can enter one line. If there's sales tax, CHS will post two lines so that you can search for things that are sales tax. But instead of a whole bunch of lines for all those items that you saw in the bid, and also the person approving the bills can just see one line and whether it's over or not, instead of seeing multiple lines to approve the bills to pay. So that's my main point that I really wanted to be sure I emphasize again. I've emphasized it before, but before we get into creating purchase orders, I'd like you to study on your cost codes and sort of make sure that you don't have things that are just too detailed that will double up and triple up and quadruple up your work or confuse your people doing data entry. And thank you for watching.